On an absolutely gorgeous Sunday in Florida, we are at the ESPN Wide World of Sports Complex at the Walt Disney World Resorts outside Orlando. And this is the Tire Pros Invitational, part of Feast Week, presented by Lowe's. First up for you, a consolation game in name only. This will be a good one. The ACC's Clemson Tigers tangling with the Oklahoma Sooners of the Big 12. Alongside former Notre Dame and NBA standout LaFonso Ellis, I'm Rich Hollenberg. Thrilled that you're joining us, Fonz. Today we start this game by focusing on 2 point guards who aren't necessarily what you'd call pure point guards.
Both guys having to go through a little bit of change. How about Jordan Woodard? Last year had to move to the 2 spot to accommodate Isaiah Cousins. Saw his 3-point shooting percentage go from 25% to 46%. Has brought that same hot shooting into this year. And how about the other side, Avery Holmes for Clemson, a guy with a St. Francisco transfer, big-time shooter there, shot over 43% from 3, and he's been doing the same thing for Clemson. How about 44% from 3 on the year?
Both those young men will be in their respective starting lineups, dominated by returning players. And Fonz, speaking of returns, both clubs returning key pieces today. For Clemson, Shelton Mitchell and Ty Hudson are suited up, and for the Sooners, top reserve Dante Buford's back.
Mitchell and Hudson now give tremendous depth to that backcourt for Clemson, and Dante Buford, another big-time weapon who can really score the basketball. Look for him to have a big year for Oklahoma.
Your officials this evening, Kelly Self, Kip Kissinger, and Brian O'Connell. The Oklahoma Sooners in their home whites, and it's the road orange unis for Brad Brownell's Clemson Tigers. Both teams come in at an overall record of 2-1 and 1-1 in the Tire Pros Invitational. The ball goes out of bounds off the opening tip, and it'll be Oklahoma ball to start.
And Rich, in this game, Clemson has to protect their backboard. 20 offensive rebounds surrendered to Davidson, and for Oklahoma, gotta limit those turnovers. They had 32 turnovers in the tournament so far. Can't do that against an athletic team like Clemson.
That's the Fonz focus that we'll be following throughout this contest. Here's Doolittle. He hit that game-tying 3 against Northern Iowa to ultimately send it to overtime. Misses on his first shot, and Dante Grantham comes away with the rebound for Clemson.
I think both teams on misses and turnovers need to get out and push the basketball, looking for early opportunities. Both of them excellent in the half court.
Grantham, the lob to no one in particular. And the first turnover of the game for Clemson.
Yes.
Here's Jordan Woodard.
And folks, you're going to see a lot of ball screens on both sides of the floor tonight.
Here's James. First shot for him is good. A 3 for number 3.
I don't think Oklahoma looks for him enough on the offensive end. He's been plagued with foul trouble to start the year, but it's important for Christian James to get off to a good start. That's a great start for Oklahoma.
He's now 6 for 10 from 3-point range of the season, Fonz.
Like to see more of it.
Avery Holmes off the mark. 0 for 2 in the early going for Clemson.
If Clemson continues to settle for perimeter jump shots, that plays in Oklahoma's favor. They have to throw that basketball down inside to Jete, number 50 in orange, to bring some balance to their offensive attack.
James tried to split the Clemson defense. And Brian O'Connell says out of bounds, it'll stay Oklahoma ball. 11 seconds on the shot clock. Brad Brownell in his 7th season in South Carolina with the Clemson Tigers. No NCAA tournaments the last 5 years, but he's taken 3 different schools to the tournament, including Clemson in his first year.
A foul there on a little back screen, offensive foul there for Oklahoma. But this is a much different Clemson team than Brownell's had in the past. He's got a lot of offensive firepower.
As a matter of fact, 4 players averaging 14 or more, 6 players in double figures so far through their first 3 games of the season.
The challenge for them with all of this offensive firepower is to not to let the rope go on the defensive end, because Brad Brownell's teams have been usually in the top 25 in the country in terms of efficiency.
Jaron Blossingame throws it away on his first touch of the game, and he is someone that they will ride on the shoulders of. He is a all-American type player.
Absolutely. He's got a lot more pieces around him this year, so don't expect him to put up the big, gigantuan numbers he put up last year. But a big-time cog for this Clemson offense. And Rich, what you saw in the last possession is the importance of putting the basketball on the hand so the shooter can go right into the shot.
Here's Kadeem Latin working on Jete. Improved offensive game for Kadeem Latin, but he's off the mark on that first one. And it's going to be a foul on Oklahoma. Foul's going to go on number 1, Rashard Odoms. You saw Lon Kruger in his 6th season in Norman, Oklahoma. Of course, they had that heartbreaking loss in the Final Four last season to the Nova Wildcats, and it was in bad form, 95-51, but that spoiled what was an otherwise magical season in Norman for Lon Kruger and the boys. In the first 5 years of the Lon Kruger era at Oklahoma, they've increased their win total every season.
Got to the NCAA tournament in only his 2nd year.
There's Jete. We talk about improved offense from the center position for Oklahoma. Same can be said for number 50 in orange.
Yeah, he was the team's most improved player voted by his coaching staff last year. Inside, outside guy now, and an excellent passer.
They go back to Latin. Inside out. James. Close range, no. And the trip. 17:04 to go. Here's the post moves from Sidi Jete, stepping out a little bit too.
And folks, when Sidi Jete came to Clemson, he was very raw, couldn't really catch the basketball, no moves. And I love to see kids working from year to year to add new elements to his game. Now he's confident. They throw the basketball to him in the high post. He moves it to the weak side. He's got that 15-foot J and hook shots in the interior as well. Another turnover for Clemson. Seen couple miscues here for Clemson offensively.
Number 2, Marquise Reed is in, covering Jordan Woodard for Clemson. And he's some instant offense off the bench for Brownell.
Yes.
Here's Darian Strong-Moore, who's checked in for Rashard Odoms, who got those 2 early fouls, and he's an early contributor.
A little miscommunication with Marquise Reed, number 2 in orange, allowed him to get that wide open look.
6 points on 2 3-pointers for the Sooners. Here's Blossom Game. Too strong. He's struggled so far in the early part of the season.
He really has.
And there's Gabe DeVoe with a triple.
Gabe DeVoe has it. He's shooting 39% in this tournament from 3. And Rich, we talked earlier about with these two teams being as good in their half-court defense, the importance to get out and get early opportunities in transition. Well done right there by Oklahoma.
Grantham, no. Latin clears. Fast-paced game to start. What we expected here in the 3rd place game. Both these teams won their opening round quarterfinal matchups, lost tough ones in the semifinals. Here's Reed, blocked by Latin, and that's still his specialty despite the improved offense.
So quick off the floor.
Woodard spins into the defense, but he still gets it to go. First bucket for Jordan Woodard, making his 109th consecutive start at Oklahoma.
Rich, the early push has been really good for Oklahoma. I'd like to see them continue to push the pace.
15:03 to go. Oklahoma off to a quick start, 10-5 over Clemson. And when we come up, we have a special guest in the house, everybody. Stay tuned.
Wow.
We are back at the ESPN Wide World of Sports Complex, part of Walt Disney World outside of Orlando, Florida, where the Oklahoma Sooners have an early 10-5 lead over the Clemson Tigers. 15:03 to go in the first half of this 3rd place game. And LaFonso Ellis has been my partner all week long. I'm Rich Hollenberg. We're thrilled you can join us. But there are some special people that work behind the scenes at ESPN that make these games possible. One person of which you might know, and it's actually not even a person. It's a mouse. We're at Disney World. Of course it's a mouse. Mickey's here, everybody. How about a high five, Mick? Crossing that one off my bucket list right now. Now, you've been working in the control room, right? So you decided for the final couple of games you'll come out here and help us out, make sure our broadcast is dialed up. All right, what do you have for me here? Okay, this is a prediction on who's going to win. We can't say this on the air, Mickey. Let's take a look at the brackets so you can make your own predictions on who you think might take the title. Clemson got past Xavier got past Clemson, rather. Northern Iowa got past Oklahoma. That sets up the championship game tonight. 7 Eastern, ESPN2, Xavier and Northern Iowa. So we're not going to read the predictions. Mickey loves all these teams, right? Of course you do.
He's Mickey.
Well, we've just been upstaged. I don't know what we're going to do after this, but we'll still have some basketball for you. Thanks, Mick.
We'd be remiss to not wish him happy birthday, though.
That's right.
88 big ones.
Mickey Mouse. I've been called Mickey Mouse before, but it hasn't been on the most positive of terms. This is why we love coming down here, right?
Do you have larger ears?
The most magical place on earth.
Indeed.
Clemson Tigers looking for a little magic against the Sooners. Here's a deep three, and Gabe DeVoe's off the mark.
Clemson can't win this basketball game just shooting perimeter jump shots. They got to get that basketball in the post to Blossom game, or they have to get to the rim off the bounce. Too many jump shots here early for Clemson.
Try to work it inside. Good catch by Jeté, and City Jeté has an early 4 points.
I love when Clemson is playing inside out.
And Doolittle, the freshman, called for traveling. Interesting, Clemson had a different look on defense there with Gerard Blossomgame at the top of his zone.
Yeah, they usually don't play a lot of zone. They're mostly a man-to-man team, but Brad Brownell, Clemson's coach, is trying to throw different things at Oklahoma to keep that high-octane offense at bay.
Defense is certainly something that Brownell has hung his hat on in his 7 years at Clemson. And we have a foul underneath. Jermoney McNeese, number 4 in white, has stepped on for Lon Kruger's club, as has Cameron McGusty, number 20 in white.
Rich, Clemson has not shot the basketball well from the perimeter to this point. They just got it inside to City Jeté, as we've been talking about, bringing some balance. Go right back to him on the inside or throw it down to Blossomgame. He's got a mismatch.
Blossomgame. No good. He's 0 for 2 in the early going.
He's got to take his time and rise over a shorter player there in Darian Strong-Moore.
McGusty, aggressive. You got to like that out of a youngster, the freshman out of Katy, Texas.
ESPN number 46 in 2016 out of Sunrise Academy in Kansas. He can do a lot of that so quick off the bounce.
DeVoe swatted away by McNeese, who's about as bouncy a player as you're going to find in the country.
He can get off the floor in a hurry.
Jeté clears. We talked about Jerron Blossomgame's struggle. He's still averaging over 14 a game, but last year was 3rd in the ACC in scoring. What's the difference so far in the early part of the season?
Against so many more people on the floor, more weapons for Clemson, he doesn't have to carry the offensive load, and he's just trying to figure out the whole process of having more people around him who can do more things.
Jerron Blossomgame, all ACC a year ago. He had 16 20-point games and 5 straight games where he had 20 or more. That was the first time at Clemson since Horace Grant did it 30 years earlier.
How about that? And another thing, Rich, when you have gotten used to having the ball in your hands a lot, it gives you a lot more opportunity to have a rhythm on the offensive end, and he doesn't know when he's going to get his touches with all the offensive weapons on the floor, so I think that's thrown off his rhythm a little bit.
And now you add to the fact what we talked about at the top of the telecast, Shelton Mitchell, a point guard, is coming back. Ty Hudson, who was suspended, is coming back. This will be a much deeper, better Clemson team come conference tournament time.
Yeah, he'll benefit from Shelton Mitchell because he can score, but he's got a pass-first mentality, and I'm sure he'll be trying to get the basketball to number 5 in orange.
Shot clock and game clock acting up just a bit, so Brian O'Connell got things straight, and we're back underway with 13-14 to go in the first half. Oklahoma nursing a 4-point lead in the early going. Doolittle.
He's got to go here.
Yeah, he should do work. Left hand, no. Jeté clears.
City Jeté coming over in the area, calls him to change that shot.
Blossomgame 0 for the field so far.
I like when Oklahoma's playing fast.
Nice take. Nothing to show for it. Loose ball. Doolittle. Active. Uh-oh.
It just got hung up there.
And that foul's going to go on City Jeté. And now C.J. Cole on the floor for Lon Kruger. Seldom used big man, but we saw him in action because of foul trouble in this tournament.
Yeah, and they need it. They need a little bit more depth across the front line, and he provides it.
Here's Reed, open, and knocks it down.
That's a really tough shot that he's actually capable of making. Gave a little jab fake and forced the defender to drop his hands, giving him some airspace to get that off.
Good hands by Reed at the top of the defense. Holmes had Blossom Game alone and missed him.
Yeah, when Jerron Blossom Game, number 5 in orange, is in the post, they got to throw the basketball in.
Another 3 attempt by Reed off the mark. He is not shy.
Yeah, the basketball's got to change sides of the floor. That basketball stayed on the right side of the floor the entire time for Clemson. When you're playing against a good defensive team, it's so important that you reverse the floor, and they'll get better opportunities on the left side.
Jordan Woodard set to come in on the next whistle, as is Dante Grantham for Clemson. And C.J. Cole comes up empty at the other end.
After a hot start for Oklahoma, all of a sudden they've gone cold. Getting some good looks, just not knocking them down. We've seen them miss some open J's. Had an opportunity to get an offensive rebound put back that rolled off the rim. Missed opportunities here early for Oklahoma.
There's Blossom Game. Nice drive and the foul. Jerron Blossom Game will have a chance at a three-point play when we return with 10:57 to go.
Clemson is so much better when they are in attack mode. Jerron Blossom Game doing a fantastic job of giving a little shot fake, escaping to his left and getting to the rim and fouled.
So we had Mickey on earlier. Coming up next, we revisit Richie and the Fonz from Happy Days. Oh yeah, you won't want to miss this when we come back.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Tire Pros. Take the hassle out of tire buying. Find your local dealer today at TirePros.com. And Gildan, every thread counts.
The HP Fieldhouse, Clemson leads Oklahoma 13-12, 10:57 to go in the first half. And inside the HP Fieldhouse, alongside LaFonso Ellis, I'm Rich Hollenberg. Last I checked, it's Sunday, right?
It is.
Yeah.
When you're on the road as long as we have, I lose days.
Well, like the song I remember goes Sunday, Monday, Happy Days. I guess that makes me Richie. And Richie always turns to the Fonz when he wants to find out what the happy days are regarding each team in basketball terms. So we'll use this as maybe the end of our careers, but we'll also use it to find out what the keys to the game are.
How about the hair, though? Both of us. You look good with red hair, by the way. But as we're talking about Clemson, they have to protect their backboard. Gave up 20 offensive rebounds to Davidson. They can't do that today against Oklahoma. And the key for Oklahoma, don't turn the basketball over. 38 turnovers in 2 games, including 24 against Northern Iowa. They do that today against this athletic Clemson team. They'll run them out the gym.
Happy days for Oklahoma if
they don't turn the rock over.
Yeah.
They got to take care of the basketball. Again, 38 turnovers here, with 24 of them coming against Northern Iowa. Got to take better care of the rock.
Both of these teams can score in bunches. You mentioned defensive efficiency for this Clemson team over the last few years, as we see Blossom Game miss the three-point play. Offensively right now, according to KenPom, they're number 18 offensively in the nation.
They've been very efficient on the offensive end. Again, another reason why Blossom Game has not been able to really get off on the offensive end. Wow, what a nice skip pass.
McGusty gets another 2. He has 4 points.
Yeah, Blossom Game just not getting as many of the touches that he's accustomed to.
By the way, partner, just to put a bow on that last segment, it could have been a lot worse. They could have called us Potsy and Ralph Mouth. Right?
That is very true.
Here's Jete.
He traveled there.
Shuffled his puppies, yep. And he had good post position, right?
Really
2 feet in the paint.
Oh yeah, with his heels actually on the restricted arc area. And when he catches it down there, he's got to make a quick move to the basket. We've said Clemson shot way too many jump shots. If they're going to throw it inside, they need production from whoever it is that catches it on the box.
Another empty possession for the Sooners.
Another turnover for Oklahoma.
Here's Reed. He's got a nice lift on that jump shot. Matt Freeman, the freshman from New Zealand, comes away with it for Oklahoma. It's Woodard, Latin, and 3 reserves on the floor for Lon Kruger. Still haven't seen Dante Buford yet, number 21 for the Sooners.
Gotta watch number 5 in white in pick and pop situations because he'll get a little small on him. They should throw it inside.
With 9 on the shot clock. Looked good off his hand, but Jordan Woodard was long on the 3 ball.
Clemson needs to play inside out.
Picked off. Bad pass by Jeté. Woodard leaves it off. And Cameron McGusty all of a sudden is the offensive weapon for the Sooners.
He's giving them a nice lift coming off the bench.
6 points for number 20, Cameron McGusty, a 6'5" freshman out of Katy.
Again, Rich, we said earlier how important it is for Oklahoma to play fast. They're so much better when they're playing in transition.
And another turnover by Clemson. They got it back, and they can't finish close to the rim. Up ahead, here's McGusty. Again, and 1.
And folks, this is a Sooner team, yes, without Buddy Hield, but they're so much better when they're playing faster. They have several guys, 6'5", 6'6", that can really get to the rim in transition. McGusty hanging in the air, a little elevation, levitation in the finish.
Everyone back at Norman, Oklahoma thinking, man, I like Sunrise Christian Academy.
Indeed.
That's where Buddy Hield spent time, and that's
Yeah.
where Cameron McGusty spent time before coming to play for Lon Kruger.
As an ESPN number 46 in the nation his senior year in 2016, he's the highest recruit Lon Kruger has ever had.
That's saying something. 9 points for McGusty, and it's a 7-0 Oklahoma run to give them the 19-13 lead. Shot off the mark again. Nice follow by Blossom Game with 4 now.
That's the thing I love about Jerron Blossom Game is even when he's not getting touches on the offensive end, he continues to guard and continues to be aggressive, and that time on the offensive glass.
Nice
pass.
look. Just out of the reach of number 13, Jordan Shepard, but it was tipped, and it'll be Clemson basketball.
Yeah, I don't think Jordan Shepard knew he was going to make that pass, but he really was wide open underneath the rim. And that's what happens, Rich, on cuts. You run your cut hard all the way to the rim. Oftentimes, you won't open up until right underneath the basket, and that's exactly what happened there, except Jordan Shepard wasn't ready to receive the rock.
Fonz, it's amazing through, I know it's only 2 games, but Clemson leads this tournament in points, field goal percentage, and assists.
Wow.
And right now they're shooting an uncharacteristic 6 for 19 from the field. Make it 6 for 20 now.
Yeah, too many jump shots early, and now we've seen on 2 possessions missing easy shots from point-blank range. You got to make those inside.
Cameron McGusty traveled on that one. 7:33 to go and a timeout on the floor. It's been Cameron McGusty taking on the entire Clemson defense the last couple minutes.
Dribble penetration. He's so good off the bounce, whether it be in the half court or in transition. Cam McGusty off to a great start.
Consolation round, but coming up this week, it's the Maui Gym Invitational from Maui. And you look at this field, and it is stacked, Fonz, but Tennessee, Wisconsin, Georgetown, Oregon, UConn, all those teams expected to be competitive this year. All those teams already have early season losses.
Yeah, people didn't really understand how important not only Dylan Brooks is to this team being out for Oregon, but Elgin Cook was absolutely a monster for Oregon, and I don't think people anticipated the impact that his departure would have on that team. That team scrambling now, both on the offense and the defensive ends of the floor.
UConn lost their first 2 games to certainly less quality teams, all due respect. And then they went out to Loyola Marymount and escaped with a 3-point win, but they didn't come out completely unmarred, an injury to one of their star freshman guards.
It's been a while since Kadeem Latin has had a touch on the interior. Rich, I like the game plan right now for Oklahoma as they're running the ball screen action. Clemson switching a lot of that action, and their bigs are, the smalls for Clemson are ending up on some of the bigs of Oklahoma. They got to recognize it a little more quickly so they can capitalize on it.
No backcourt, throwing it from under your own basket. We have counting down to 7 minutes to go in the first half. Oklahoma's led for most of the contest. It's a close one, 19-15. And an errant pass from down low goes out of bounds. That's turnover number 7 for the Oklahoma Sooners, who you pointed out just 2 nights ago against Northern Iowa. 24 turnovers. That was really the problem with them losing that game in overtime.
Indeed, and 38 turnovers on the tournament. But if you're going to turn it over, you'd rather throw it out of bounds than allow Clemson with their athleticism to get out in transition.
Clemson's 6 for 21 from the field. What do they have to do differently on offense?
Again, anytime they've driven the basketball to the basket, they've gotten a good look, or when they've thrown it down on the inside, they've been reluctant to do so and has taken a lot of J's.
Kadeem Latin picks the pocket of Gabe DeVoe.
Wow.
And again, it goes out of bounds.
Both teams can't handle the rock here early. Careless turnovers by both teams.
That's 8 Clemson turnovers. They had 8 all of the first game against Davidson and 12 their last game in the semifinals.
And Oklahoma's been able to turn those Clemson turnovers into 8 points here. Got to take better care of the rock. Got to get something going to the basket, something either in the post. And again, Blossom Game has 6'1" Darian Strong more on them. The inability to recognize the mismatches on the floor has crushed Clemson on the offensive end tonight.
6 for 22 in the first half. Here's Woodard trying to take matters into his own hands, but he comes up empty.
That's good discipline there by Blossom Game.
Nice ball movement by the Clemson offense. Three-pointer, no good.
Rich, another tough contested shot for Clemson. They got to drive the ball.
If you're a basketball purist, you might appreciate games in the 50s. That's what we might be seeing tonight.
If we can get there. Mismatch inside, if they can find it. Lob over the top. Christian Doolittle is open down there.
Woodard tried to leave it for Latin. Clemson got a hand on it. They have numbers, too. Grantham finally gets a bucket for the Tigers.
And Rich, where does he get it? Caught the basketball on the block, made a move. Clemson needs more of it. But Oklahoma's got to do a better job of taking care of the basketball on the offensive end. They've given up so many possessions. I counted 4 here in the last 2 minutes.
19-17, Oklahoma with the lead.
The Oklahoma bigs are open on the seal. You have to deliver the rock.
Tough shot by Kadeem Latin.
Yeah, that's a frustration shot, though. He's been open for about 5 minutes, and I tell you what, I've been in that position. If you don't touch it for a while, the first time you get it, you're going to shoot it, whether it's a tough shot or not. Glad Kadeem Latin was able to knock that one down.
Considering before that they had 5 turnovers in their last 6 possessions, they'll take it. It's going to be an Oklahoma foul on number 3, Christian James.
This is the improved part of Kadeem Latin's game. This is an Oklahoma team that shot 41% of their field goals from the perimeter last year, only 3% on the low block. They're going to be intentional about throwing it down into number 12, Kadeem Latin, and the more he can deliver like that, the better it is for Oklahoma. It'll bring much better balance to their offensive attack.
Up to the line steps Sidi Jete, and if you're wondering, it's not one of those big men who you could hack with a couple minutes left in a close game and expect him to miss from the free throw line. He's 9 for 16 so far on the season, and Brad Brownell, through all these years of maturation, trusts him in late game situations.
Without a doubt, he always makes the right play. Coaches voted him most improved player last year. He's an effort guy, rugged, fights for every rebound and loose ball. He's not as athletic as Noko was last year, but he's a lot more physical. Came in raw, a little unpolished. Has a good passer from the high post, can knock down the 15-foot J, and nice little hook shots inside.
12 points, 8 boards against Davidson, 11.7 boards in their loss to Xavier. He has 6 tonight.
It's a nice skip.
It's a Good ball movement gets rewarded. Jordan Woodard for three.
Clemson more intentional about getting the basketball inside, and they've been able to get some good looks at the rim. City Jete knocking that one down.
4 straight points for City. Here's McGusty. Leaves it down low. Good patience by Christian Doolittle in the low post. Number 11 in white will go to the line. We have a timeout on the floor. Christian Doolittle will be shooting free throws for Lon Kruger Sooners. They have the lead 24-21, 3:38 to go. (24-21) Oklahoma with the lead, 3:38 to go. Rich Hollenberg, LaFonso Ellis. This is the Tire Pros Invitational as part of Feast Week, presented by Lowe's. Fonz, take us inside the play.
Rich, when you're playing against an elite-level defensive team, you got to get multiple ball reversals. Ball starts on the right side of the floor, reverse it, dribble penetration, and now kick it back to the weak side. And now you get defensive players running at shooters out there. And Jordan Woodard, one of the best three-point shooters in the nation, shooting 43% from three on the year. And that's what you have to do against elite-level defenses. You got to reverse the ball. The more reversals you get, the better opportunity you get to get good looks.
You talk about Jordan Woodard moving back to the point guard position in the Big 12. This is a Big 12 that is stacked with top quality guard play.
Juwan Evans, we've talked so much at Oklahoma State, and now that Phil Forte's back makes them a formidable backcourt. You know how good the Kansas backcourt is. Great backcourt down in West Virginia.
Yeah, Monte Morris, Player of the Year candidate with Iowa State.
We can just keep naming them. This is a very deep Big 12. I think down overall, but the guard play is going to be spectacular. I really like this freshman here, Christian Doolittle. ESPN ranked number 69. He's put on about 15 pounds of muscle, versatile driver. He's got the mid-range game. Actually went to the same high school as Jordan Woodard.
Yeah.
Edmond Memorial High School, where they won a championship together. So we should expect some good chemistry between those two guys.
Last time Oklahoma had 2 basketball players on their team that went to the same high school, the Griffin brothers.
Wow.
Blake's doing all right for himself.
I tell you what, Blake's having a really good year. I'm not sure it's the level of MVP of our league, but he's having a spectacular year. He's rebounding well, making good decisions on his passing. I don't think people realize how good of a passer Blake Griffin is.
5 on the shot clock. DeVoe's been off. Oh, that's Avery Holmes. He's been off the mark all night.
Right inside here.
Latin and Jete, a couple of vets. Went off Dante Grantham's face.
Yeah, Latin's got to be more score-minded.
Loose ball, and Brian O'Connell says it's going to be a foul on Clemson. Oklahoma basketball with 2:52 to go in the first half.
Rich, you can see the coaches from Oklahoma on the sideline frustrated with Kadeem Latin for not taking that shot on the interior. When he catches the basketball down there, they expect him to score. When he rolled to the rim, he never looked at the rim, and Clemson's defense knew he was going to pass it. That's how they were able to jump the passing lane. He's got to be aggressive in the post.
Fonz, that's something Lon Kruger needs from Kadeem Latin this year. Darian Strong-Moore. Another three-pointer. He has 6.
Jaden Strong-Moore is really giving them some good minutes tonight. He's been active with his hands on the defensive end and been able to knock down a couple shots as well.
Clemson calls a timeout with 2:29 to go, and they're facing their largest deficit of the game, 29-21. So we talked about the inside game struggling for the Oklahoma Sooners. Kadeem Latin really not looking for his offense. Luckily for him, the guard play have been knocking down some shots.
They really have. They've been pushing it in transition and aggressive off the bounce. Darian Strong-Moore, I thought, has been very patient, looking for opportunities to score, not overdoing it. The newcomer to transfer from Coffeyville Community College. He's been thrown in the leadership fire as a backup point guard, can drive and shoot it, and he's shown a little bit of each tonight.
He's a third-team JUCO All-American coming into Norman, so they expect him to do a real yeoman-like job spelling Jordan Woodard during this season, because Woodard can't play 40 minutes a night every night.
Indeed. And you'll actually see them on the floor at the same time, which will allow Jordan Woodard to actually play off the ball, which is great because of his ability to knock down the three-point shot.
You see that right now.
Hey, I feel like Nostradamus here.
I'm going to call you a weatherman. You do so much forecasting. Here's Grantham. Tough move. Jete, the rebound, and he got hammered by Latin, and he'll go to the line and shoot two.
And Rich, most of what we've been talking about in the first half for Clemson is the dribble penetration or throwing it inside. Look what the drive does. Now Kadeem has to come over and give some help. Sidi Jete positions himself exactly where the big should be, is underneath the basket, wedging in. And the more they can drive the basketball, Clemson, the more they can throw it inside, the better results they'll get. And you saw it right there.
I know you can appreciate this even more than I can as a layman. I just love seeing bigs who can shoot free throws. I love seeing anyone who can shoot free throws, but seeing bigs who can knock them down from the free throw line.
And what it does, Rich, in late game situations, you don't have to play the substitute game. You can keep your best rebounders on the floor because if they get fouled, you have the confidence that they can go to the line and knock them down. What a luxury Brad Brownell has in Sidi Jete.
Clemson shooting under 30% from the field, but they find themselves down just 7 to the Oklahoma Sooners. Deep three, in and out. Jete, he's been the best player on the floor for the Clemson Tigers, but he shuffled his feet that time.
Got a little excited on that offensive rebound.
This is a different Clemson offense than we've seen the first 2 games here in Orlando. Dante Grantham, case in point, had 21 against Xavier 2 nights ago, and he's only had 2 points against this Oklahoma D.
Yeah, he's not had many opportunities on the offensive end. The Clemson guards have to find him out there on the floor.
Woodard, 2-man game with Latin, and he could do that now.
I love that possession. Look for him on the post, couldn't get him, and then kicked it out.
And a double dribble by Clemson. Turnover number 11 for Brad Brownell's Tigers.
Folks, when Oklahoma can't get anything in transition, they got to do more of this in the half court. Set some ball screens with Kadeem Latin. Sidi Jete has to help a little bit, which gives him some room to be able to knock that shot down. That was beautifully executed there by Oklahoma.
Latin, feeling it. 8 points for the big man out of Houston, Texas.
Tell you what, when your coaches jump all over you for not taking one down in the post, it's amazing how you can play inspired offensively, and that's exactly what's happened here for Kadeem Latin.
You want me to shoot, Coach? Okay, I'll shoot. I'll shoot.
Let it fly, kid.
Here's Holmes, and he'll go to the line and shoot a pair.
Folks, it started earlier when Kadeem Latin didn't shoot that hook shot in the middle of the floor. His coaches jumped up and gave him the 1-2. And ever since then, he's been aggressively looking for a shot on the offensive end. If Oklahoma's going to be successful this year on the season in non-conference play and in conference play, they need number 12 and Wright to be aggressive on the offensive end. He's been that way the last 2 possessions.
Offensively for Clemson, as we see Holmes miss that free throw, he's still scoreless in this game and had 12 points and 22 points in his previous 2. They have 11 turnovers right now, Fonz. They've been averaging in a game 9.3. That's one of the best in the country through the first few games of the season. How much credit goes to Oklahoma's defense? How much is it uneven Clemson offense?
Well, Clemson has thrown some ill-advised passes at times, but you do have to give some credit to this Oklahoma defense. Their length, especially, nice move, especially with their guards, has been problematic for the smaller guards for Clemson.
DeVoe. Grantham. No. Walled up by Matt Freeman. And a timeout, use it or lose it from Lon Kruger with 27.1 left in the half and 26 on the shot clock. So a little more than a second differential between shot clock and game clock. Now, when you hear Clemson, Oklahoma, you think, man, that would be a great football game, wouldn't it? This is a pretty decent basketball game, too. But speaking of football, we only have a few weeks left in the regular season, and we have the exclusive reveal of the College Football Playoff Top 25 rankings coming up this Tuesday at 7 Eastern on ESPN. Reese and the boys will break them down from top to bottom, and as always, you can watch it on TV. You could also watch it on your mobile device using the ESPN app and watch ESPN. Clemson still hanging tough in the top 4. Oklahoma might have a say. They've won more games than anybody in the Big 12 consecutively in years. They are dominating that conference, and yet people still have them on the outside. They're playing their best football, though, coming in the most important crunch time.
Yeah, I think there's that lingering misconception that they're still that same Oklahoma team that lost early in the year, and their defense has been tremendous over the last 8 games, which puts them in the position that they're in. But I think they have the top 4, right? Ohio State, Alabama, because remember, they're in the class by themselves. Ohio State, Michigan, then Clemson.
5 seconds on the shot clock. Woodard in traffic. Wow. To end the half, Jordan Woodard puts on a highlight layup to close this half out. He has 7, and it's the largest lead of the game for the Sooners going to the break, 35-23.
Jordan Woodard, the unquestioned leader on this team. We talk about elevation, levitation. How about that one? A right-hand shooter spinning that one off the glass with his left hand, going in among the trees. Jordan Cousins with a huge basket for Oklahoma.
Our halftime score, the Sooners lead at 35-23 over the Clemson Tigers. We'll take a timeout here, and we'll go to Brendan Fitzgerald and Dino Gaudio for the ESPNU halftime report. We are back at the ESPN Wide World of Sports on the grounds of the Walt Disney World Complex outside of Orlando, Florida. Consolation round action in the Tire Pros Invitational, part of Feast Week, presented by Lowe's. In the third place game, the Oklahoma Sooners have a 12-point lead over the Clemson Tigers. And there's the title that Xavier and Northern Iowa will be battling for immediately following this game on ESPN2. Welcome into the HP Fieldhouse, along with everybody's favorite analyst, LaFonso Ellis. I'm Rich Hollenberg. It's been a fun week here so far. We've seen Clemson in the first 2 games of this tournament turn it on offensively. They struggled in the first half offensively here, Fonz, and you've come up with a real good reason why.
A lot of jump shots. This is 3 games now in 4 days. Their starters have played 85% of the total minutes, and gets into your legs, usually making jump shots short, and that's exactly what we've seen.
And it showed itself against the tough Oklahoma defense.
Absolutely. Oklahoma did a nice job of getting in passing lanes and getting out in transition. Their ability to get deflections and steals. And I've said this Oklahoma team is at their best when they're playing fast, when they can get out in transition and take advantage of this athleticism that they have, especially with their guard play. They've been absolutely terrific in turning over this Clemson team. 11 turnovers, leading to 15 points for Oklahoma.
And Clemson's defense been pretty good themselves. They forced 10 Oklahoma turnovers, but they've only scored 2 points off them.
And again, a lot of those weren't live ball turnovers. Those were turnovers that went out of bounds. And if you're going to turn it over, that's exactly what you want, to allow your defense to be able to go back and have them play against 5 guys versus getting odd numbers in transition.
An 11-2 Sooner run has staked them to a 12-point lead as we start the second half. The winner takes home third place in a tough field at the Tire Pros Invitational.
With withered legs, it's going to be important for Clemson to be able to throw the basketball down inside or get dribble penetration. Another turnover for the Tigers.
Jordan Woodard in the passing lane. He starts the second half the way he ended the first half, with an open layup.
That's now 12 turnovers for Clemson that have led to 17 Oklahoma points. They're going to continue to turn it over at that clip. There's no way they can get back in this game.
Grantham baseline. No. Blossom Game can't follow. And we have a foul. That foul's going to go on Oklahoma, so it'll be Clemson basketball.
And Rich, every time Clemson has gotten something either in the post or to the rim off the bounce, they've been either able to make it or they've gotten guys on the offensive glass to keep it alive. If they want to get back in this game, they have to continue to attack off the bounce and throw the basketball down inside. Too many jump shots for the Tigers.
They called it a shooting foul, so Blossom Game goes to the line. He had 4 points in the first half. And he's stuck on 4 with that miss. 0 for 2 in the early going here from the free throw line.
First team All-ACC last year, ACC's most improved player. People don't realize that he actually missed 2 full years with leg injury, so to come back and play at the level that he did is pretty remarkable.
Already graduated. He has a degree in sociology from Clemson, but because of that redshirt status, has this year with the Brad Brownell-led club trying to make his case as an NBA player.
Christian James got to make that one. That's point-blank range.
Blossom Game flirted with the NBA, but much to the delight of Brad Brownell and his staff, he decided to come back for this final season. And there's Blossom Game again, being aggressive on the offensive end. Year by year, Fonzie's just gotten better. I mean, last year at Clemson, 50% from the field, 40 from beyond the arc, and 75% from the stripe. He's the only Clemson player ever to do that. And finally, a jump shot goes down.
Yeah, and they really need Avery Holmes to get going. He's been averaging about 17 points here in this tournament. Quiet in the first half. 0 for 4 in the first half. Got to get him to pick it up here in a second.
James short.
Grantham actually nipped that ball a little bit, which is why we're short.
These are two stellar defenses we're seeing go toe-to-toe tonight.
A lot of length, athleticism, and quickness on both sides of the floor.
James to the bench. And Cameron McGusty, who had a terrific first half offensively, checks in for him. Number 20 in white had 9 points in the first half.
Oftentimes when you make substitutions, you kind of get a little break with guys coming off the bench. Not so for Oklahoma.
Jump shot doesn't work for Grantham. Neither does the layup, but he follows his own miss.
But you see what the dribble penetration has done for Clemson? Every time they get in the lane, they either get a bucket or they get an offensive rebound. Got to continue to drive the ball.
They double the post. McGusty open, no. Grantham clears and Jete rips it away from him.
Yeah, and I think Clemson's got to push the pace too. They got some guys that can get out in transition and finish.
Out of bounds, it's going to stay Clemson basketball. 17:30 to go in the second half. Oklahoma's led for most of this contest. Their largest lead was a dozen. They're up 10 now, 37-27.
Wow.
Errant pass, unforced error by the Tigers on the out-of-bounds play.
I don't think, I've been covering the ACC now for 3 years, and I don't know if I've ever seen Clemson throw the basketball away as often as they've thrown it tonight. So many miscues on the offensive end.
Sometimes a day off is good for teams. Sometimes it accumulates a little rust. Here's McGusty, wide open. Too strong. Grantham uses those long arms to haul down the rebound.
I still think they need to, on misses, get out and play with some pace.
Holmes, wild three early in the shot clock. Loose ball. And Blossom Game screaming timeout to Kip Kissinger, and instead, Kissinger says jump ball, Oklahoma basketball.
Wow, that was great effort, though, by Blossom Game to give up his body to get on the floor and to come up with that basketball. I mean, he sprints to it to get to it, put himself in position, but couldn't quite get the timeout called quick enough. Rich, with this lineup out there on the floor for Oklahoma, I think Kadeem Latin and Christian Doolittle, number 11 in white, I think they're a little bit of a handful here. I think Oklahoma can throw the basketball into one of those guys, and they'll have a mismatch with Grantham, number 15 on the interior, who's more of a small forward.
Latin hasn't had a touch yet in the second half. Hasn't had to. Woodard knocks down his second bucket of the half.
It came off a really nice down screen by Doolittle. Well done.
Good defense by the freshman McGusty out of bounds. It'll stay Clemson basketball.
And it could be fatigue, but Dante Grantham, number 15 in orange, looks a little hesitant to me tonight. In the 2 games previous, he's been very confident making quick decisions. Got to get him back to playing confident tonight.
Ooh, Grantham went for the highlight dunk and came up short.
That was confident. Need more of that.
Confidence doesn't score you 2 points, though.
Good ball movement by Oklahoma.
McGusty, not shy this evening.
3 points, Cameron McGusty.
And Rich, we've seen that several times tonight from Oklahoma where they've reversed the ball 2 to 3 times and led to a good look on the weak side of the floor.
Blossom Game, too strong on the 3 ball. Right place, right time. Jerome Blossom Game gets it under the bucket.
Paint touches have been really good for Clemson. Off the post, off the bounce.
Woodard, heat check 3, no good. Can't fault either of these teams for trying to push offense. They're taking shots early in the shot clock, maybe not always the smartest shots.
Yeah, and folks, just so you know, Clemson is a bit underhanded. They've only been playing with 7 guys. They have 2 guys who are injured over on the bench. And again, the starting lineup playing 85% of the minutes. So you can understand if they're a bit fatigued today.
Here's a leak out, and McGusty decides to pull it back. Veteran move for the freshman.
He's really made some smart plays tonight for the Sooners.
Oklahoma doing a much better job of valuing the basketball tonight, wouldn't you say, Fonz?
Indeed. Up 13, no rush. Nice pass.
Ball goes out of bounds. We have a timeout, 14:43 to go. Oklahoma in control, 42-29, and it's largely due to an unheralded freshman.
Yeah, beautiful ball movement on the offensive end for Oklahoma. McGusty knocking down another long 3.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Lowe's.
(42-29), 14:43 to go in the third place game of the Tire Pros Invitational, part of Feast Week presented by Lowe's. Rich Hollenberg, LaFonso Ellis. Fonz, I think before the game, if you asked anybody who'd be the leading scorer right now for the Sooners, you'd say Jordan Woodard, no. Kadeem Lattin, no. Christian James, no. It's the freshman, Cameron McGusty.
Yeah, he's been fantastic tonight. Really doing a great job in transition, been able to get to the rim off the bounce. Came to Oklahoma with a reputation of a slashing scorer, and we've seen that a lot tonight. 5 of 7 from the floor for that young man. He's been very patient, played with a lot of poise tonight for a freshman. That's a big boon for the Sooners.
Leading the game with 12 points. Jordan Woodard right behind him with 11. Nobody from the Clemson side of things in double figures yet.
Yeah, their offense has been really challenged, especially with taking so many jump shots on the perimeter. When they've gotten dribble penetration or thrown it in the post, it's been really good. So to climb back in this game down 13 with 14 minutes to go, they got to get back to it.
Shot clock running down. Woodard had to force it up from beyond NBA range. Offensive rebound by Jamani McNeese. It's Woodard and 4 reserves for Lon Kruger on the floor now.
Got to be aware of where number 5 in white is for Oklahoma. Matt Freeman, excellent three-point shooter.
Off the Marcus Freeman. And Marquise Reed comes away with it. They can use some instant offense from number 2 in orange.
Indeed. Wow, Blossom Game had another mismatch down there that they didn't recognize.
Off the side of the backboard goes Grantham.
And that's what happens sometimes is when you don't take the easy opportunity against a good defensive team, usually ends up in the bad shot. What a big shot there by Jordan Woodard.
A 3 in front of his own bench gives Jordan Woodard the scoring lead at 14. It's now ballooned to a 16-point advantage for the Sooners. Whistle on the floor, 13:40 to go. Brad Brownell has put Ty Hudson on the floor, number 1 in orange. First time he's seen action. He was suspended indefinitely earlier in the year due to violation of team rules. And as you mentioned, how tired this Clemson team must be playing a limited bench. Now Hudson hopefully provides some relief.
Yeah, hopefully he can give a little spark there. He's got a scorer's mentality, lefty. Nice block there by Matt Freeman. I'm sorry, that was Jamani McNeese. I love how quickly he gets off the floor.
Yeah.
But wow, with the left hand too.
Most people you say, oh, he's got a great second jump. He has a great first and second jump.
Indeed.
Here's Hudson with the ball. Left-hander. His first shot is off the mark. We have a foul on the floor.
But I like the fact that he's come off the bench aggressive because the offense for Clemson has been stagnant for the most part of this game.
Jamani McNeese saddled with 3 fouls now, and that's an issue for him so far this season. Only 3 games in, but McNeese has found himself in foul trouble in each one. Loose ball out of bounds, and it's going Oklahoma's way.
Another missed jump shot here for Clemson. And they're getting some good looks. They're just not able to knock them down, and I do think fatigue with a short rotation and only 7 guys, starting 5 playing 85% of the minutes, has really hurt their ability to knock down shots because coming into this game, their jump shooting has been terrific in this tournament, but not able to knock them down tonight.
Brad Brownell's team 14th in the ACC in offense a year ago, 3rd in defense. That's usually what you think of when you think of a Tigers team. Not so much this year so far. Offensively, they are much improved and a lot of high expectations out of the Clemson camp for this offense. We haven't seen it tonight.
Credit Oklahoma's defense. They've been really good.
Here's DeVoe. No shot, says Kip Kissinger. Foul on the floor again on the Sooners. That one's going to go on Freeman, the 6'10 freshman out of Auckland, New Zealand. His first.
Blossom's game is open in there. They're not even looking for him, Clemson, inside to Blossom game. You got to find your best player.
McGusty.
How good has he been tonight? Now 6 of 8 from the floor. He's been terrific.
Some people around Oklahoma wondering who's going to be our secondary scorer. We know Jordan Woodard could fill it up well. We might be getting our answer tonight.
Yeah, I love when Oklahoma is on the push. So many guys that can get to the rim and finish. How about the little hop over to the rim? Putting that thing off the glass. Kevin McGusty has been fantastic tonight for Oklahoma.
Earning his minutes. 47-29, Oklahoma looking to bounce back from that crushing defeat in the semifinals to Northern Iowa. They were up 18 on the Panthers on Friday night and gave it away, 24 total turnovers, and they lost that game in overtime. They have bounced back in a big way tonight. Clemson can't buy a bucket.
They really can't, and that's why they got to get something going to the rim, Rich. The jump shot has failed them time in and time out tonight.
To the tune of 2 of their last 15 field goal attempts.
Matt Freeman's got a little one down there if they can find him. Number 5 in white.
And an offensive foul, too much of the arm from Jordan Woodard. We have a timeout on the floor, 11:59 to go. Oklahoma bouncing back in a big way. They're up 47-29 on the Clemson Tigers, looking to go 3-1 on the season. Hard-pressed to find anybody to choose these 2 players as the best players in the Tire Pros Invitational Tournament. But J.P. McCura from Xavier and Clint Carlson from Northern Iowa, Fonz, have been just that. They've
been difficult matchups for any team that they've played against. J.P. McCura knocking down the 3 ball, 20-plus points in that first half of that game against Clemson. And last night, down 18 points in the second half. Clint Carlson all but put that team on his shoulders to carry them into the overtime.
The Musketeers looking on. They are awaiting the Panthers in the championship game. 7 Eastern on ESPN2, number 11 Xavier and Northern Iowa. That will be a fun one. A couple teams who could shoot it, a couple teams who like to defend and like to rebound. We hope you'll join us for the Tire Pros Invitational Championship. Blossom game. And he knocks one down. Clemson has settled for the outside shot, but it hasn't been kind to them tonight.
But you know what, Rich? We talked about that before we went to the break. It's you got to find ways to get your best basketball players shot opportunities on the offensive end. There was a jump shot. I'm glad it was Blossom game.
Latin 2 feet in the paint, and it's a little too strong.
And I go right back to him here, number 5 in orange, whether it be on the post or on the perimeter.
Kick ball, it'll stay Tigers basketball.
Folks, these are the kind of opportunities that you have to get your best player on the floor. Jerron Blossom game, number 5 in orange, is the best player on the floor from Clemson. Can score it at all 3 levels. They have to be more intentional about getting it to him, especially in their half-court attack.
Bounce pass, Blossom game, met at the rim by Latin, and Latin's going to get his 3rd foul.
And that's what he does. He's so explosive. And when he can see the basketball go through the rim, now he gets a bit more aggressive there. What an aggressive drive to the rim. How about his ability to be able to hang in the air and the adjustment, drawing that foul from Kadeem Latin. For Clemson to get back in this game, Rich, with an opportunity to win it down the stretch. Number 5 is going to have to carry them on the offensive end. And not only with his scoring, he draws so much attention, he'll be able to pass to his teammates for some open looks. Clemson needs to be intentional about getting him the rock.
Blossom game, the first Tiger to double digits. He now has 11. And don't count out this Clemson club. Their defense can bring them right back in it. And it forces a turnover no sooner than I say that.
That's Darian Strong Moore, the newcomer there. And, you know, if you know anything about Clemson basketball with Brad Brownell, you always have to be aware of adjustments, especially coming out of free throw situations or coming out of timeouts. Oklahoma not ready there.
Starters on for the Tigers.
Get number 5 the ball.
Here he is on the left side. What a pretty move by Jerome Blossom game. He has 13.
And he has that ability, folks. He can put this Clemson team on his back and carry them offensively, but his guards have to be aware to get him the ball in his hot spots. There's lobs available on the back line.
Great ball movement. Dante Buford, who's checked in for the first time this season, and this is his first shot, 21 in white, on the floor for Lon Kruger's club. See if they let him touch the ball again. Here's Holmes. Holmes slices in and one. Fonz, it's starting to sound a little like Little John here in Orlando.
Oh, indeed, Rich. And, you know, we talked about it earlier with Blossom game, getting it going on the offensive end. But the key to the game so far for Clemson has been they've been unwilling to put the ball on the deck and get to the rim. When they've been willing to do it, especially here in the second half, they've been either able to score and or get fouled. If they want to win this game, they got to continue to attack off the bounce and making sure that they're getting number 5, a steady dose on the offensive end.
A 10-0 Clemson run. They're right back in it. Avery Holmes has 6 points. He's now 32 points shy of 1,000 for his career.
Wow.
10 minutes to go. Third place game, Tire Pros Invitational.
Yeah, number 10 here in white in Oklahoma. He's got to find a way to take over this game on the offensive end with his playmaking ability.
Latin, shot fake, knocks it down. That's a big boy move by Kadeem Latin.
The ball reversals have been really good, and the skips for Oklahoma to get to the weak side of the floor, they've been able to generate some really good offense out of it.
Blossom game, 3, not that time. Chate lost the board.
I thought Chate was fouled.
I think he thought so too.
Got a mismatch inside, throw it into Doolittle.
Doolittle sets the screen instead. Woodard uses it, and it goes over the backboard. Clemson basketball.
Yeah, I thought he shot that one a little quick. He kind of hopped into that one. Not quite the rhythm that we're accustomed to seeing Jordan Woodard shoot. Dribble drive, post-ups, Blossom game here for Clemson.
Chate. Oh, he took it all the way, but he missed the dunk. Got fouled for his efforts, but Sidney Chate almost brought that stanchion down.
How about the big fella with the little rip here? Latin there going for a steal, not coming up with it. Sidney Chate going right down Park Avenue and drawing the foul. Again, Rich, dribble penetration has been so good for Clemson. They have to continue to be aggressive with putting the ball on the deck and attacking the rack.
And now Lon Kruger's 2 big horses, Jordan Woodard and Kadeem Latin, both with 3 fouls and both still on the floor. Chate, his 3rd career double-double, 10 points, 12 boards. Make it a baker's dozen for City.
Too much dribbling.
Christian James has been quiet this second
He
half.
has, and they've not gotten him involved in the offense, but I like this one.
Pretty stroke from Jordan Woodard. Leads all scorers with 16.
Which we said a couple of possessions ago that number 10 needs the ball in his hands. He can make a lot happen. His ability to stretch it from 3, creative off the bounce.
And he's got the green light from Coach Kruger.
He'd have the green light for me too if he's shooting 44% from 3.
Here's Blossom game.
It's a tough
working
matchup.
on James. He's heating up. Number 5 in orange has 15.
And that's smart play, knowing who's got the hot hand and feeding the beast. Jordan Blossom game. Jerron Blossom game, rather, has been fantastic here in the second half.
Doolittle, wild shot. Jete, weak side rebound.
The late challenge from Blossom game made him shoot that one a little too hard.
And they call Avery Holmes for palming the basketball. 7:40 to go. Oklahoma up 8, but it's been Clemson heating up in the last couple of minutes.
Jerron Blossom game a little quiet in the first half. Only 4 points in the first half, but they know who to get the basketball to. Knocking down threes, getting to the rim. Jerron Blossom game heating up.
Invitational kicks off tomorrow afternoon on ESPN2. The final set for Tuesday at 10:30 Eastern on ESPN, and it's a loaded field. Number 9, Wisconsin. Number 4, Oregon. UConn, Oklahoma State, and the 5th-ranked North Carolina Tar Heels. I got to see them in person at the start of this season. Handicap the field for us, Fonz.
Yeah, I like North Carolina to win it all. Last year, as they were going to the NCAA tournament, I said that Justin Jackson needs to knock down the perimeter jump shot. Shot plus 40% in the NCAA tournament, shooting at equally that clip this season, and they need him to be able to knock down perimeter shots, especially having graduated Page.
Marcus Page, Bryce Johnson are gone, but they've got some good freshmen in there and a veteran bunch led by point guard Joel Berry. Here's our game summary. Clemson in the second half on a 16-2 run. They've made 5 of their last 6 field goals. Unfortunately for Brad Brownell, that's in stark contrast to the first half where they struggled so mightily. Find themselves down 8, 7.5 to go.
Much more aggressive off the bounce and getting the ball to their best player, number 5, Jerron Blossom game.
Here's Doolittle. And Jete whistled for the foul.
And Rich, we talked about early how much of a load Christian Doolittle is down in the low post, and he's really good off the bounce as well. Oklahoma's been reluctant to get him any touches here in the second half.
Again, they go down low to Doolittle. Cross pass. James knocks down the 3.
And Rich, that's why it's so important to be able to get it to Doolittle, because he's really a 3-4. You put a 3 on him, that person's too small. You put a 4 on him, too big. And he's unselfish and willing to make the pass, as you saw there. Ooh.
That one's not going to count.
It would in the NBA. But this is what Christian Doolittle does. If he's really patient when he catches the basketball down there for a freshman, knows where the openings are on the weak side of the floor, delivers a strike to Christian James, who knocks it down.
And I know it might not be the sexiest or most exciting visual on the court, but if Jerron Blossom game's at the free throw line, Fonz, that means this Clemson offense is doing something they should be doing.
Which is feeding the beast every time down the floor.
He came back to school for a reason. It's not to be a passer.
I agree.
He could dish the rock, but he's got to score 18, 19 a game if this Clemson team is going to challenge for the upper half of that ACC.
I agree. Even with all the guys that they have coming back, when everyone's healthy and they have 9 in the rotation, number 5 still needs the rock.
17 points for Blossom game, matches his season high.
Looks like they're in a 1-3-1. The short corners are available on the skip.
Woodard, nice shot fake and gets Jete to go up, and Jete came down right on top of Jordan Woodard. That's City's second foul at 6:44 to go in the game, and Jete slow to get up. I think he took it right below the belt.
Yes. He's going to be feeling that for a few weeks. But how about the savvy Jordan Woodard? You know, most guys would get in that area and kind of panic, but you know, he's been around a little while now. Nice little shot fake to get Jete off the floor.
I'd bust out my Mickey impersonation again, but that would be in poor taste.
Very poor.
Jordan Woodard at the line.
This is a G-rated broadcast here, buddy.
And a rare miss for Jordan Woodard from the free throw line. He was 16 for 17 this season.
Wow.
Until that miss.
Tell you, I like the mental adjustment he's made, again, to accommodate Isaiah Cousins last year. He had to move from his natural position, number 1, to the 2-guard spot. Had a successful year shooting 44% from 3, but now has been charged with running the offense while trying to find his shots. I think he's accepted and excelled in that role.
Jeté almost follows with a dunk, but he can't. Second missed dunk of the game for Sidi Jeté.
Jeté's got a little one down there. They should take a shot, and if they miss it, he can get the offensive rebound. A little too late now.
Blossom Game taking over on offense. Game high 19.
Which I really do try to not repeat myself, but give him the basketball every time down the floor. He's making great things happen for Clemson.
James from the wing. That's another 3. Third of the game for Christian James.
And Rich, we talked about early, against that pressure, especially the 1-3-1, the corners are open. That was really good recognition there by Oklahoma.
Blossom Game operating along the baseline. Marquise Reed knocks down a 3. And suddenly, the Clemson offense has come alive.
And Rich, this is what happens when you feed number 5 in orange. He's not only able to score the basketball, but when he catches it on the low post after getting going, he draws a lot of attention down low, and he was able to find, after the double team, Marquise Reed lined up from the 3-point. Look at the dribble drive here, folks. Able to get to the rim and a strong finish. Blossom Game is hot.
Clemson's offense has caught fire. OU still leads it 58-50, 5:50 to go. Fonz inside the play.
And folks, this is why it's so important that you get the basketball in the hands of your best player on the floor. Watch this Jerron Blossom Game, who has a mismatch down here in the post. Once he catches the basketball, now Christian James has to come down and draw some help. And Marquise Reed does a great job of spacing away, and that creates a long run for Christian James to have to recover. Marquise Reed stepped into a huge 3 to knock it down to keep some momentum for Clemson.
Jerron Blossom Game, one of the best players in the ACC, one of the top players in the country, flirting with the NBA last year, decided to come back for one more year at Clemson. And a lot of people think Clemson might be a sleeper pick to, at very least, make it into the upper half of this league, and at best, maybe get an NCAA bid.
With all of the new weapons that they have, and if they can keep the same defensive intensity, there is no question that this Clemson team will be back in the NCAA tournament.
13 in white, Jordan Shepard, freshman out of Asheville, North Carolina, controlling the point now for Lon Cougars Club.
Yeah, Christian James has got it going himself. I'd like to see number 3 in white get a few more touches on the offensive end. Woodard and James.
2 on the shot clock. Woodard got it up, couldn't get it to go. And offensive rebounding has been almost non-existent for Oklahoma. Only 4 offensive boards this game. Clemson has 19 on the offensive glass.
Wow. Nice rip and go.
How about Jerron Blossom Game? 21 and 1.
Tell you what, I don't know what changed, but whatever changed was really good because they get the basketball in his hands and he's making terrific plays all over the floor. What's the beautiful rip to the baseline? No one available, Latin there too late, and he's just too strong at 23 years old. That's a man finishing around the rim.
Well, Jerron Blossom, we've been to Clemson practices. He operates almost exclusively along the baseline in practice. He's shown that he could step out and widen his offensive repertoire, but that's his comfort zone right there.
Yeah, and for a right-handed player, that right-to-left rip is hard for guys, and he does it with ease.
It is just a 5-point game. 2 possessions separate Oklahoma and Clemson.
Got to be Woodard and James down the stretch here.
Clemson really extending their defense, and they got a trap in the corner. 5 on the shot clock.
James is open if they can find him.
Did he get it off? Brian McConnell says no. Shot clock violation. And the Clemson faithful are in a lather.
And that's the Clemson defense that we're accustomed to. I mean, doing a great job of closing down shooters early and forcing them to have to make an additional play. And that's what they do. They're so quick now with this lineup on the floor. They have the length to be able to close out your shooters and make you make an additional play. That was a big mistake by Oklahoma, not knowing how much time was on the floor. I thought Christian James should have taken that shot from the left at the three-point line.
Blossom game stationed on the right side of the baseline for this offensive possession. Clemson's battle back, down 12 at the break. And Reed knocks down another triple.
With Blossom game going now, Rich, Oklahoma's doubling the post. He's doing a great job of moving the rock out and getting it to the weak side. Those opportunities are available in plenty for Clemson. Beautiful execution by the Tigers.
Under 4 minutes to go. James, another three from the sophomore James. That's 4 triples tonight.
Rich, we said the last possession that it's got to be Christian James, number 3 in white, and number 10, Jordan Woodard in white, to carry the offense for Oklahoma.
Good look inside. Chate. Out to DeVoe. No good. Another offensive board for Clemson. Here's Reed. No good. And they keep it alive again. Fresh 30. Nice look for Chate. Great play defensively by Jordan Woodard. 3:24 to go. We've got a ball game in Orlando. 61-56. Oklahoma clinging to the 5-point lead.
Due to the double team on the block of Blossom game, Marquise Reed has been able to get some wide open looks from the three-point line. Beautiful ball reversal by the Tigers. Reed drilling it from the top.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Lowe's and Angry Orchard Hard Cider. Branch out.
Thank you, Fitz. 61-56. Oklahoma clinging to a 5-point lead. 3:24 to go. And they, Fonz, are all too familiar with giving up big leads. They led Clemson by 18 in this game, and they led the Northern Iowa Panthers by 18 Friday night in the semifinals, only to see Northern Iowa march all the way back and win it in overtime.
Yeah, Northern Iowa did the same thing down the stretch. They got the ball to the hot hand, who was Clint Carlson last night, and he was able to score 6 straight baskets in a row, threes and dribble penetration. And because of the attention that you had to pay, he was able to put it on the bounce and get open shots for his teammates. He was a match-up nightmare last night for Oklahoma, and the very reason Northern Iowa was in the finals.
Ron Kruger told me before this game, they're still figuring this team out. And one of the things that is great about these guaranteed game tournaments, you know you're going to get 3 games. It helps you, as a coach, learn what your team is all about. And one of the key things for teams that don't have a lot of veteran leadership, who's going to close the game out for you.
Yeah, and if you, at the end of the year, Rich, if you happen to finish in the middle of the pack in your league, these big-time games early in the year help your strength of schedule and your RPI.
Chance to make it a 1-possession ball game.
Thought Blossom game was bumped a little on that shot.
Clemson started this half 2 for 15. Since then, they're 9 for their last 16.
Wow. Christian James, number 3 in white, and this man right here, Jordan Woodard. Every time down the floor for Oklahoma. And Rich, because of all the switching that takes place on the floor for Clemson, Woodard be able to get some nice looks out there because he'll have one of the bigger players from Clemson on him, and he can take him off the bounce or step back and shoot the 3.
And Clemson only 4 fouls in this half, so they've got some fouls to give as well. And James has been on point from beyond the arc. 5 3-pointers for Christian James, 15 tonight.
I love how patient he is. Never rushes his shot, though he wasn't getting touches early, never forced anything. Get Blossom game the ball. He's got a guy on his back.
Air ball from Grantham.
I just don't, Rich, I just don't understand it. I mean, you got a guy that's been white hot every possession down the floor. He needs to touch the rock in position to score. That's an ill-advised shot from Grantham.
And to that point, Christian James deserves the rock for Oklahoma. He has 12 of their last 13 points.
He's been terrific. So patient on the offensive end. He's got deep range, can put it on the deck and get to the rim. Again, for Oklahoma to close the deal, it's got to be number 3 in white, Christian James, and this guy, number 10, Jordan Woodard. Baseline, then the skip pass.
Nice look. And there's James again. Make it 14 of their last 15 points from Christian James.
Rich, that's beautiful offense against the zone pressure. Folks, watch the beautiful ball movement here against the pressure. A little double team there, and if you can find an opening and get it to the weak side of the floor, you can get money on the weak side. Christian James, number 3 in white, making a beautiful cut from a nice delivery there from Darian Strong-Moore. Patience against pressure is a virtue when it comes to offense. Oklahoma doing it beautifully there.
Just 3 points so far for Gabe DeVoe, make it 4. That's his first point of the second half. Came in averaging close to 16 a game.
Yeah, shoot first guy. Didn't play much 2 years ago. 14 to 15 minutes a game last year. Shot wasn't too consistent, but this year coming to the tournament, shooting 44% from 3. I love guys that work on their game, and he certainly put in a lot of work on that J.
We have a timeout on the floor called by the Sooners with 1:58 to go, but Oklahoma had an 18-point lead whittled all the way down to 8. And I would ask you, Fonz, how has Clemson done it? But we both know how they've done it. They got the ball to their superstar, number 5, Jaron Blossom game. So in these final 2 minutes, how do you expect Oklahoma to defend the Clemson offense?
I think they'll keep doing it the same. Jaron Blossom game, look for him to catch the basketball down in the post area or sometimes even on pick and pops and look to attack. Oklahoma will continue to try to crowd his space and make him a passer. Now can they close out the shooters? Can they get out the shooters to keep Clemson from knocking down wide open shots?
While we have a timeout on the floor, let's bring to you our Tire Pros drive of the game. And it came with time running down in the first half and the ball in Jordan Woodard's hands.
Jordan Woodard just so clever. We know him for his three-point shooting, but that was a brilliant finish underneath the rim. Look how far and how long he hung in the air to finish that one. Tire Pros drive of the game.
Woodard has 17 on 7 for 13 shooting. He also has 9 assists tonight, showing that he could be that lead guard. Sometimes there's a little bit of a change going underway in college and pro basketball.
Yeah.
They're called like the James Hardens, the Russell Westbrooks. They're not point guards anymore, Fonz. They're points guards.
They really are, and really playmakers.
Yeah.
And so they help their teams by being able to put a number of points on the board and be able to drop dimes, and Jordan Woodard does both. Russell Westbrook's my favorite player, by the way.
There you go. And Oklahoma will be in OKC to face Wichita State on December 10th.
That'll be a game.
That's a foul. Again, Clemson has fouls to give. That's their 6th.
Rich, I'll tell you what, Lon Kruger has some really talented freshmen. McGusty, Christian Doolittle, Matt Freeman, all those guys, man, young talent, and they're going to be really good middle part of the season.
Woodard short on the 3. The rebound to Reed. And here's the run out. Grantham off the window. No. He's had a frustrating night.
Yeah, he's got to dunk that one. At 6'8", he's got to dunk that one on the little guard.
Only 4 points tonight for Dante Grantham, coming off 21.
Down 8, no silly fouls here.
Latin blocked by Jete. Reed hesitated and still canned the 3 from the corner.
That's a tough shot. Usually when you hesitate that way, a little shot fake, it usually takes some of the juice out of your legs, making that a more difficult shot. Man, that's a big one there.
Back to a 2-possession ball game. Marquise Reed has 4 3-pointers tonight, 13 on the game. Possession arrow goes to Clemson. Tigers with 1 timeout. Lon Kruger Sooners have 2 timeouts with 1:11 on the clock.
with down 5 here. I expect Clemson to come out with some pressure to slow the advance of Oklahoma coming up the floor. Oklahoma's going to have to be careful with the basketball to not make those, keep the passes 10 to 12 feet. Anything longer than that, now you allow the athleticism of Clemson to come up with a 50-50 ball. So they're going to have to be good with the basketball, but the ball has to stay in the hands of Jordan Woodard, Christian James, and making plays from there.
Fonz, you touched on how important these 3 games in 4 days are to learn about your team. It's also good that these teams get a couple days off after these tournaments. Next up for the Clemson Tigers, 11/25. That's November 25th. They'll be home against High Point. And for the Oklahoma Sooners, again, they don't return to the court until the 25th as well against Abilene Christian. So much needed rest for these clubs.
Yeah, absolutely. And Rich, you know, these kids aren't used to playing back-to-back games at the college level. I know some people go, yeah, they're used to playing AAU and they play several games. In AAU, they don't guard. In college, with these 2 coaches, Brad Brownell and Lon Kruger, you have to guard. And so their legs are going to be popped over the next couple days. So a lot of cold tubs and energy drinks over the next couple days.
Blossom game covering the inbounds from Doolittle. They try to force the turnover. Here's the trap of Doolittle.
Someone's got to make it flash to the ball.
And it's picked off right in front of us. Gabe DeVoe picked off the pass, and Kelly Self said he was out of bounds.
Wow, what a nice trap of the basketball in the backcourt. Oklahoma taking too long to make themselves available. DeVoe almost had it, stepped on the line there, I think with his left foot here. No, it's right foot coming down.
No, you're right, it was the left foot.
Yeah. What a great play for the basketball, though.
Right at the tail end. I saw Fonz was there. You were there to make the save if need be.
I had his back, man, and as you know, I got yours.
You always do.
If he would have come over the table, I'd have caught him.
Under a minute to go.
Would have had a hernia, but I'd have caught him.
Sooners looking to hang on and close out this game. Almost picked off. Good hands by Grantham with 11 on the shot clock. It'll stay Oklahoma basketball.
Rich, that's those long passes that I'm talking about. The passes have to be 10 to 12 feet. Oklahoma has to do a better job of flashing from the weak side to give the person who's trapped an outlet.
We saw Jordan Woodard really giving Christian James the business. Here's Woodard. Wow, Jordan Woodard closing it out. 19 for Woodard.
There's plays like that, which is why number 10 needs the ball in his hands.
DeVoe lets the clock stay stopped for just a second as he picks it up right before half court, and Jete steps out and hits the jumper.
Oh, he's open. Kadeem Latt's open in the backcourt if they can see him.
Shot clock is off. The foul's going to go on Reed. And Jordan Woodard is going to go to the line and shoot 1 and 1.
How about Jordan Woodard, folks? This guy has so much experience, and in late game situations, you want the ball in number 10's hands, putting it on the deck, getting to the rim. And then Sidi Jete, you talk about improvement year after year after year. He couldn't come close to making that shot even last year, but has been working on his game and now confidently knocks down a big 3 for his team late.
Might be too little, too late for the Clemson Tigers. Woodard calmly nails those 2, and he has 21 to lead his team.
Quick strikes here. You don't necessarily need a 3.
Reed rolls off the rim. Picks it up. DeVoe for 3. No. And time is certainly of the essence for the Clemson Tigers, down 6 points with 14.1 to go.
And Rich, that's one of the tough deals. Late in the game like that, you have to tell yourself to slow down and take your normal shot. They shot that ball a little too quickly.
Even when all your instincts are saying rush, rush, rush.
Got to be calm in the storm.
So with that official review on the court to determine who the ball went out of bounds to, Brad Brownell is going to draw something up on the grease board while his team has the opportunity.
Rich, I really do enjoy the fact that the referees have the discretion now to be able to go and check it out with 2 minutes to go in the game, to go to the monitor and make sure that they get it right.
Most of the time they do, but it's nice to confirm that.
Yeah, and this is a great crew here. I didn't see who it went off of earlier. That looks like it's off of Doolittle. That should be Clemson ball.
So assuming it is Tigers basketball, Fonz, and you're Brad Brownell, What are you drawing up? Because you obviously need a quick bucket.
Let's see, you're underneath here. They're going to run some kind of curling action to bring someone to the strong side corner because Oklahoma, being a good defensive team, is going to take away inside any of those inside cuts and protect the basket. So the only opportunities you're going to be able to get is on the strong side, and the way you get it is screening inside to allow guys to curl off.
And unless they're seeing something that I don't see, it should be Clemson basketball. And it will be. It looks like Grantham will inbounds under his own basket. 14.1 to go. Clemson trailed by 18 at the 12:48 mark and has marched all the way back, but still find themselves down 6. Here's Blossom Game for 3. No. DeVoe, the rebound, has to get it up in a hurry, and time's going to run out on the Clemson Tigers.
Rich, Jerron Blossom Game should have shot that ball as soon as he caught it. He was wide open. The little hesitation that he took allowed the defense to challenge it and make a tougher shot.
Here's the home run pass. Latin catches it and wisely just brings it out. Misses the shot, but it's to no avail anyway. Clemson, the comeback falls short. Oklahoma wins it by a score of 70-64 to take third place in the Tire Pros Invitational. They leave here 2-1 and are 3-1 on the season. What impressed you most about the Sooners today?
The fact that it looked like Clemson was getting momentum and they start to get the basketball to their best players. Christian James was terrific in the second half.
Stay tuned for the championship game from the Tire Pros. It's Northern Iowa and Xavier coming up in about 30 minutes on ESPN2. Now, back to the studio.